Dear students, in the last video lecture, I discussed how to find equivalent resistance or equivalent impedance of a network. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss two more important topics, that is superposition theorem and reciprocity theorem. So let's start with the statement of superposition theorem. So it says that in a linear active and bilateral network, in a linear active and bilateral network consisting more than one independent sources consisting more than one independent sources, the response in n element is equal to the sum of responses, sum of in that element due to individual independent sources acting alone. It is saying that a linear active and bilateral network consisting more than one independent source. If you are having a linear active and bilateral network and there are more than one independent source in the network, then it is saying that the response in an element, what does it mean? Suppose this is the network. It has two independent sources V and I. Now suppose you have to take the response in this branch. So there can be two responses. One is output current, another one is output voltage. So response means either current or voltage. So it is saying that the response in an element is equal to the sum of responses in that element due to individual independent sources acting alone. What does it mean? It means they are saying that if you are having more than one independent source in the network and you have to find the response in any element, then what can you do? You can deactivate all the independent sources leaving one at a time. We have to find the response because of this one. Suppose this response will be I naught 1. So we will find I naught 1. Then what will you do? You will deactivate this one and will activate this one. Then we will find the response. Here it will be I naught 2. So they are saying that total response will be equal to what? I naught will be equal to sum of I naught 1 plus I naught 2. Sum of I naught 1 plus I naught 2. So first let us see what is the meaning of linear active and bilateral network. What is the meaning of linear active and bilateral network? So first let us see the linear network means a network consists of linear elements only. So what is the meaning of linear element? Linear element in which linear element, let us see the examples are voltage source, current source, resistor, inductor and capacitor. Resistor, inductor and capacitor. Let us see how the resistor, inductor and capacitor are linear. See, in the case of resistor, you know the current is proportional to voltage. Current is proportional to voltage. That means there is linear relationship between current and voltage. So resistor is linear. Very important point. Next come to inductor. So let us see how inductor is linear. In the case of inductor, you see that when you provide the flux, when you provide the current, then you see that the flux is being produced in the coil. The flux is being produced in the coil. That means you can say that this flux phi is proportional to I. Phi is proportional to I. That's why inductor is linear element. Next come to capacitor. In the case of capacitor, you see that when you are applying a voltage across the plates of the capacitor, then you see that the charge is being stored at the plates, and you know that the charge is proportional to voltage. Q is proportional to voltage. So that's why resistor, inductor and capacitors are linear elements. Resistor, inductor and capacitors are linear elements. Clear? Sometimes you will also see the definition of linear elements like this one, that if current is proportional to voltage either in time domain or in Laplace domain, then the elements are called linear. So of course when you come to Laplace domain, so in the Laplace domain you will see that here also you will see that the voltages have the current and voltages have the linear relationship in Laplace domain. Here also current and voltage have linear relationship in Laplace domain. Clear? So now it is clear about linear elements. So now let us see which elements are non-linear. So if you are having diode, then diode is a non-linear element. If you are having transistor is also a non-linear element. How? If you plot IV characteristic of diode, the plot is like this one. So this plot is what? This is non-linear plot. So diode is a non-linear element. Next, come to transistor. In the case of transistor, you see the currents are flowing like this one. So this is also non-linear. So here in the case of transistor, since I versus V curve is non-linear, that means you can say transistor is also non-linear device. Clear? Transistor is also non-linear device. Next, you see one more thing. I am giving you some graphs. This is one graph. This is another graph. This is another graph. Now you have to choose which graph is the graph of linear element, IV characteristic of linear element. So here answer will be C. This graph is also non-linear because when the voltage is less than 0, you see current is 0. So this graph is non-linear. This graph, see here, this is the graph of y equal to mx plus c, but since the graph is not starting from origin, so this is also the example of non-linear element. So this is also non-linear element. Third one here, the graph is coming from passing through origin. This is the linear graph. So third one is the example of linear element. Clear? Next, let us see active. What is the meaning of active network? Active network means the network having some active elements present. Then the network is called active. So let us see active elements. What is the meaning of active elements? Active elements means the elements which are capable of either generating or rectifying or amplifying or attenuating the signal are called active elements, clear, are called active elements. So this is the definition of active element. So next let us see the elements which are capable of generating. So generating is what? If you are having a voltage source, then this is active element. If you are having a current source, this is also active element because it is generating electrical signal. Next, rectifying means what? Diode. Rectifying means what? Diode. Rectifying means what? SCR, silicon control rectifier. Then they are saying amplifying. Amplifying means what? Amplifying means transistors. Amplifying means transistors, BJTs, MOSFET, IGBT. These elements are called active elements. These elements are the example of active elements. Clear? So if they are saying that in the superposition theorem the network should be linear, active and bilateral, that means the active means there must be some element from this active group of element. But at the same time, remember one thing, they are saying that network should also be linear. Now you see that starting from here all the elements are non-linear, so these elements are not allowed in the case of superposition theorem. If you are applying superposition theorem, then these elements are not allowed. Clear? So only V and I sources will be allowed, and yes, there can be passive elements, because in the case of network, if you are having 10 elements, then even if single element is there which is active element, either it is voltage source or current source, so it is okay, no problem. Clear? So active means it is okay. Passive means what? Passive elements means you are having resistor, inductor, capacitor. These are the example of passive elements. Clear? Next, see bilateral network. Bilateral network means if an electrical network consists of bilateral elements, then the network will be called bilateral network. So let us see bilateral elements. What is the meaning of bilateral elements? Bilateral elements means current can flow through both sides. Suppose this is 5 ohm of resistor, and if you are applying a voltage of 10 volt, then the current is flowing like this one. The current is flowing like this one. Current will be 2 ampere. Now it will be bilateral only if you apply a negative voltage of same magnitude 10 volt, then the same amount of current will flow in reverse direction. So resistor is bilateral element. Clear? Take the example of inductor, take the example of capacitor. All are bilateral elements. Now let us see the example of diode. So diode, what happens in the case of diode? If there is diode in the circuit, then if you apply forward bias, then current will be conducting. But once you apply reverse bias voltage, it will act as open circuit. So diode is the example of unilateral element. Diode is your unilateral element where resistor, inductor, capacitors are bilateral elements. So now you can understand the meaning of linear, active and bilateral network. That means there should be voltage source or current source. There should be some resistors, inductors or capacitors present in the circuit. Clear? So now come to the statement of this theorem, that is superposition theorem. So it is saying that consisting more than one independent sources. So let us see how to apply superposition theorem. How to apply superposition theorem. So come to step 1. What you have to do at the first step? Suppose a network is given to you and you have checked all the conditions. Now you have to apply superposition theorem. When you have to apply superposition theorem, what you have to do? First step, deactivate all independent sources leaving one alone. That means if a circuit having 3 independent sources, then we have to deactivate 2 independent sources and there will be only one independent source. Step 2. Calculate the response in the element. Calculate the response in the element. Step 3. Repeat above 2 steps for all the independent sources. Repeat above 2 steps for all the independent sources. Clear? For all the, that means if you are having 3 independent sources, then you have to repeat the steps 3 times. Clear? Step 4. Total response will be equal to sum of all the individual responses with sign. Sign is also compulsory. That means suppose for first response current is negative, for second response current is positive, so you'll have to add, suppose -2 +4, so answer will be equal to +2 ampere. So these are the steps you have to follow while applying superposition theorem. Now you have to note 2 more important points. These 2 are key points and you have to remember every time while applying superposition theorem. Note very important point. First point is it is not applicable for power. That means it is applicable for finding voltage and current only. It is not applicable for finding power. Clear? Second, it is also applicable in a network. It is also applicable in a network having initial conditions. That means if you are having an inductor or if you are having a capacitor, suppose you are having an inductor in the network and this inductor was initially carrying a current of 1 ampere, or you are having a capacitor and this capacitor was initially carrying a voltage of 5 volt. So this superposition theorem is also applicable for these networks. Clear? So there is no any condition that there should be 0 initial conditions. Clear? So these 2 points are very, very important if you are applying superposition theorem. Clear? Now let us do one numerical question. Suppose this network is given to you. This network is given to you. You have to find this current I. You have to find the current I. You have to find current I by applying superposition theorem. So what is the step? You are having two independent sources, 1 and 2. So first step is deactivate all the independent sources, leaving one alone. So let us deactivate this one. So when you deactivate this one, when we'll deactivate this one, you see 5 ohm, 5, 5, 5. Now this current will become I1, this current will become I1, this is 10 volt. So now what will be the value of I1? See, I1 is coming out through this terminal, and here this current is 0. So total I1 is flowing in this circuit. So the value of I1 will be equal to 10 divided by total resistances, that means 15. 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by 3 ampere. Clear? Next, come to another part. Let us deactivate this source. Let us deactivate voltage source, and here the current will be flowing. Now this current is I2. Now let us see, this current is I2. Now we have to calculate I2. So you see that 5 ampere current is coming out. So here it will be 5 ampere. Now this 5 ampere current is being divided into two branches. This 5 ampere current is being divided into two branches. The resistance of this branch is 10 ohm. The resistance of this branch is 5 ohm. So we'll have to apply current divider rule to find the value of I2. Now see one thing. Here the direction of I2 is upward, while the current of that divided current, the direction of divided current should be downward. So what we'll have to do? There will be a minus sign. There will be a minus sign, minus I, that means 5 into, you have to find the current through this branch. You are applying potential divider rules. What you'll have to do? You'll have to take this resistance 10 ohm divided by 10 plus 5 divided by, so minus 5 into 10 divided by 15. Minus 5 into 10 divided by 15, that means minus 10 by 3 ampere. I2 is minus 10 by 3 ampere. So when you find I will be equal to I1 plus I2. It will be equal to 2 by 3 minus 10 by 3. That means minus 8 by 3 ampere will be the answer. Minus 8 by 3 ampere will be the answer. Minus 8 by 3 ampere will be the answer. Second, one more thing. You will have one confusion that if there is any dependent source in the circuit, then can you apply superposition theorem? Yes, you can easily apply superposition theorem if there is any dependent source present in the circuit. Clear? You have no need to worry for that. You have no need to worry for that. I am giving you one question. You can practice by yourself. See the question. Question is, all the resistors are of 2 ohm. This is 10 volt. This is 5 ampere. This is 5 ampere. This is 5 ampere. Clear? Suppose this current is I1. This current is I1. This current is I1. Clear? Now you have to find the current I. You have to find this current I. You have to find current I by superposition theorem, by applying superposition theorem, by applying superposition theorem. So I am giving you the hint. You see, there are two independent sources present in the network. So we'll deactivate current source first, then we'll deactivate voltage source Clear? So now we'll calculate the value of response. Here you are familiar with the concept of dependent source. So how to solve this dependent source? You will see that here its magnitude is 2I1 and I1 is the branch current of this one. So you will assume the voltage of this node. You will assume the voltage of this node in the calculation. Suppose this voltage is V and you will apply like this one I1, because you have to write Ohm's law in that identified branch. So you will write V minus, here the potential is 0, here the potential is 2I1. So here it is 2I1 divided by 2. So from here you write 2I1 will be equal to V minus 2I1. That means from here you write I1 will be equal to V divided by 4. I1 will be equal to V divided by 4. So by this way you have to find the value of current I by superposition theorem, and you have to post the answer in comment box. Clear? You have to post the answer in comment box. Next is one more important theorem, that is reciprocity theorem. Reciprocity theorem. So let us see what is reciprocity theorem. It is saying that the ratio of excitation to response is constant irrespective of change in the position of excitation and response in the network. It is saying the ratio of excitation to response is constant irrespective of change in the position of excitation and response in the network. Excitation means you are giving some voltage. Excitation means you are applying some voltage or current. Response means output. So let us see. They are saying that suppose this is a network and here it is excitation, here it is excitation V1, here it is response, that means if you are applying V1 voltage here, so here you will see the current flowing will be I2, here the current flowing will be I2. So they are saying that V1 by I2 is constant irrespective of change of position of excitation and response. Now you have to change the position of excitation and response. That means this excitation will be shifted here and this response will be shifted here. So I am drawing the circuit again. Changing the excitation and response means here you are changing the excitation, you are changing the position of excitation and you are changing the position of response. So now here it will be V2, here it will be I1. 1 and 2 are reference to the port number 1, port number 2. So here it is saying that V1 by I2 will be equal to V2 divided by I1. V1 by I2 will be equal to V2 divided by I1. V1 by I2 will be equal to V2 divided by I1. Clear? V2 by I1. So now let us see the conditions before applying reciprocity theorem in a network. Conditions before applying reciprocity theorem in a network. The first condition is network must be linear, active and bilateral. First condition is network must be linear, active and bilateral. Second condition is initial conditions must be zero. That means system must be initially relaxed. Third condition is there must be one and only one. There must be one and only one independent source present in the network. And fourth one is there should not be even a single dependent source. There should not be even a single dependent source present in the network. There are four conditions. Circuit must be linear, active and bilateral. Second condition is initial conditions must be zero. In the case of superposition theorem, you have noted that was also applicable for the circuit having some initial conditions. But here the initial conditions must be zero. Third case is there must be one and only one independent source in the system. But in the case of superposition theorem, it was applicable for more than one independent source in the system. Here there should not be even a single dependent source present in the network. But in the case of superposition theorem, the dependent sources were also allowed. Clear? Next. Now suppose we are having a network like this one. This element is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This element is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So now what I told, there must be one independent source. Now the network, there can be, suppose this is, consider this element, consider this element. So there are many branches from where you can take the response, you can take the output, and you see that there is only one excitation in the network. So if you are going to apply reciprocity theorem here in this network, that means if you are going to interchange the position of excitation and response, then first branch will always be common. That means 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. These pairs are possible, but 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 3, 5, 4, 5. These pairs are not possible. Above 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, above 4 pairs are possible. Clear? Above 4 pairs are possible. So next let us solve some numericals. So that you can easily understand reciprocity theorem. See the question. Question is, this is 10 volt, this is 5 ampere, then this is linear network, then they are asking you if it is 20 volt, then what will be the value of I1? Here if it is 10 volt, it is 5 ampere. Now what are you doing? You are interchanging the position of excitation and response. So now excitation has been shifted here. Now here what is the value of excitation here? Here the value is 20 volt. That means it has been multiplied by 2. So what will be the value of current? Current will also be multiplied by 2. So current will be 10 ampere will be the correct answer. 10 ampere will be the correct answer. 10 ampere will be the correct answer. Clear? 10 ampere will be the correct answer. Next, for the same circuit, suppose this was problem number A. Problem number B. B is saying that you are connecting the battery like this one, 20 volt. The direction of current here is same. Then what is the value of I1? So what will happen? You have reversed the direction of battery in this case. Initially the battery was like this one, minus plus. Here you are interchanging the position of excitation. At the same time you are also changing the terminal of direction of battery. So here the current will be how much? Here the current will be minus 10 ampere. Here the current will be minus 10 ampere. Here the current will be minus 10 ampere. Clear? यहाँ करंट minus 10 ampere होगा. Clear? Next, let us take one more question. Let us take one more question. They are saying that here it is 5 volt, 2 ampere and 4 ampere. Now they are asking you in this circuit. They are asking you in this circuit. They are asking you in this circuit. Here it is 10 volt. 10 volt. They are asking you the value of I. They are asking you the value of I. Clear? So next, how to solve this question? How to solve this question? First you have to check whether this theorem is applicable or not. So here you see that there are two independent sources. Then how it can be applicable? So what you will have to do? You will have to apply one trick. You have already studied superposition theorem. You have already studied superposition theorem. So with the help of superposition theorem, you will take only one at a time. You will take only one independent source at a time. So by superposition theorem, you will have to go by superposition theorem. If you apply superposition theorem, let us check the response due to first 10 volt source. It is 10 volt. It is 10 volt. So what will happen? This current will become equal to, because of 5 volt, the currents are 2 ampere and 4 ampere. So because of 10 volt, the current will be doubled. It is already linear network, so it will be 4 ampere. It will be 8 ampere. Clear? Next. Now we are having second source 10 volt. Here it is like this one. Here it is like this one. Here it is like this one. Now what will happen? Here you see that because of this 10 volt, now what will happen? Because of 5 volt it was current was 2 ampere. So because of 10 volt, here the current will become like this one. Here the direction of current will become this one. This current will be 4 ampere. Now what about this current? What about this current? So because of 5 volt, here the current is 4 ampere. So because of 10 volt, this current will be how much? This current will be 8 ampere. This current will be 8 ampere in this direction. The current will be 8 ampere in this direction. This is 10 volt battery. So because of 10 volt battery, here because of 5 volt, current at this terminal is 4 ampere. Now you are interchanging the position of excitation and response. So here it is 10 volt, so here it will be 8 ampere. Here the current was 4 ampere. Suppose this current was I1. So here what is the value of I2? But the direction of I is like this one. So here I2 is equal to minus 8 ampere. So total current I will be equal to I1 plus I2. So it will be equal to 4 minus 8 equal to minus 4 ampere. It will be equal to minus 4 ampere. So minus 4 ampere is the correct answer. Minus 4 ampere is the correct answer. So now you can see that if you are having more than one independent source, then by applying superposition theorem and reciprocity theorem together, you can find the solution. You can easily find the solution. Clear? Next, let us discuss one more question. Let us discuss one more question. See, this is 2 ampere current source, 2 ohm, 4 ohm. Here it is 2 ohm and 2 ohm. Here it is 2 ohm and 2 ohm. Here it is 8 ohm. Sorry, here it is 8 ohm. The question is that you have to verify Norton's theorem. You have to verify Norton's theorem in this case. So let us see how to. You have to verify reciprocity theorem in this case. So let us see how to verify. To verify the reciprocity theorem, here this is excitation, this is the response. So first you will have to calculate the value of response. So let us see how to calculate the value of response. Here 2 ampere current is coming out, so here the current will be 2 ampere. Now you see 4 ohm source, 4 ohm resistance, 4 ohm resistance. So here it will be 1 ampere, here it will be 1 ampere. 1 ampere and 1 ampere. Now if you calculate the value of V0, this current is 1 ampere, so there will be the potential drop of 2 into 1. That means V0 will be equal to 2 volt. V0 will be equal to 2 volt. Clear? V0 will be equal to 2 volt. V0 is equal to 2 volt. Clear? Now what you have to do? Now you have to interchange the position. You have to interchange the position of excitation and response. So let us see how to interchange the position. Here you see that deconstruct the network. V0 equal to 2 volt. It is 8 ohm, 4 ohm, 2 ohm, 2 ohm. Now what you have to do? Instead of plus minus V0, here it will be the current source, that means of 2 ampere. Here it will be the current source of 2 ampere. Now instead of this current source, here it will be plus minus V0. Plus minus V0. Now for this 2 ampere current source, you have to calculate V0. You have to calculate V0. So let us see how to calculate V0. Let us see how to calculate V0. You see one thing, once the current starts flowing through this one, so current will flow up to this circuit only. Current will flow up to this circuit only because here it is open circuited, so current through this resistance will be 0. current through this resistance will be 0. If the current through this resistance will be 0, then the voltage drop across 8 ohm resistor will also be 0. Once voltage drop is 0, that means potential is plus minus V naught here. So here also the potential will be same. Here also the potential will be same, and it will be equal to V naught. It will be equal to V naught. So now what we have to do? Anyhow, if you manage to calculate this current, then we can easily get the answer. So let us see how to calculate the current. You see, 2 ampere of current is coming out from here. Now this current is being divided into two parts. This is I1, this is I2. So this I1 is flowing through this one. That means total resistance in the path of I1 is 4 plus 2, that is 6 ohm, and here the resistance is 2 ohm. So if you calculate I1 by current divider rule, so I1 will be equal to 2 into opposite resistor, that means 2 divided by 6. 2 divided by 6 equal to 2 by 3. It will be equal to 2 by 3 ampere. It will be equal to 2 by 3 ampere. It will be equal to 2 by 3 ampere. Sorry, here the total resistance will be 4 plus 2. It is 6 ohm, and here it is 2. That means 8. That means 8. So here it will be 2 into 2 by 8. That means it will be equal to 1 by 2 ampere. If it is 1 by 2, then what will it write? This current is 1 by 2. That means V naught will be equal to 1 by 2 into 4. That means 2 volt. V naught will be equal to 1 by 2 into 4. That means it will be equal to 2 volt. So what you see? Here also the V naught was 2 volt. Once you interchange the position, V naught is still 2 volt. It means reciprocity theorem is verified in this circuit. The theorem of reciprocity has been verified in this circuit. Clear? Theorem of reciprocity has been verified in this circuit. Now I am giving you some questions based on superposition theorem of AC circuits. See. Suppose this is AC voltage and current. This is your 200 at the angle 30 degree volt. This is 5 ohm. This is J2 ohm. This is minus J2. This is minus J2. This is 5 ohm. This is J1 ohm. This is 2 ohm. This current is 5 at the angle 0 degree ampere. 5 at the angle 0 degree ampere. This resistance is 2 ohm. This is J4. This is J4. You have to find this current I by superposition theorem. You have to find I by superposition theorem. You have to solve it by yourself, and you have to post the answers in comment box. Here simply there are two sources. So what you will do? You will deactivate one and calculate the response due to one source. Again you will deactivate another. You will calculate the response. Then you will add these two responses. You will get the answer. So you have to apply superposition theorem in this case. You will have to apply superposition theorem in this case. Clear? So by this way you have to study all the topics. And you can see that how easy this network theory subject is. It's very easy subject. Only practice is required. Every time you will see that the questions, the concepts are being repeated in GATE examination from network theory supply. only you will have to apply some tricks. There are some changes in the circuit, then you have to apply the trick and you have to write the answer. You have to always focus on the numerical calculations, because if there is some error in numerical calculations, then your answer will definitely be wrong. So you have to focus on numerical calculations. Second thing is, I am teaching you the network theorems. So there are many network theorems. For every network theorem there are different conditions. That means if you apply, you are applying some network theorem, then for applying the network theorem there must be some conditions. That means circuit must satisfy some conditions. So I will be writing all the conditions in all the theorems. So you have to revise all the conditions, and when you are applying any network theorem, so you must check whether the network is satisfying those conditions or not. Especially you have to take care of these things, that means zero initial conditions. You have to take care of dependent source. You have to take care of whether the circuit should be linear active or bilateral, because when I was teaching KCL and KVL, so I told you that KCL and KVL are applicable in any conditions, but when I am teaching you superposition theorem and reciprocity theorem, so I am giving you some conditions. So for different theorems there are different conditions. Clear? So this is all about reciprocity theorem and superposition theorem. In the next lecture I will start Thevenin's theorem.